So the Lakers finally break their losing streak against the Trailblazers. And it was a pretty dominant win too, with some big time performances from a few key players. So what does this mean in terms of the trade market for the Lakers? And does it change anything? Let's talk about it. Before we get started, if you could do me a huge favor and drop a like on the video and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future Lakers and other sports content. So like I said, the Lakers beat the Trailblazers and the final score was 107-98. So overall, it was a pretty convincing win. I mean, anytime the Lakers can clear out their bench to finish a game off, that's always a good sign. Anthony Davis played really well. He had 30 points with 11 rebounds in just 32 minutes, so we were able to get him some rest to finish off the game. But what really got everyone's attention was the gameplay of Rui Hachimura and D'Angelo Russell. Rui had a very efficient 23 points, shooting 9 of 13 from the field and 3 of 5 from 3. And of course, D'Angelo Russell probably had the best game of the night. He dropped 28 points and 14 assists with only 2 turnovers. He shot 5 of 10 from 3 and 9 of 17 from the field. So overall, just a very impactful game from D'Angelo Russell. Now, as you all know, this got everybody's attention because Rui and D'Lo have had, let's just say, an inconsistent season so far. Very up and down. And with these type of performances, this is something that pretty much everyone, not just Lakers fans, have been expecting from them. So what does this mean? Is this a sign that they are catching their rhythm and they are, heading towards maximizing their full potential with this Lakers roster? Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true. Does this change anything in terms of the trade market for the Lakers? In my opinion, it doesn't change a damn thing. And the number one reason why is because I am a huge stickler for consistency. I can appreciate D'Angelo Russell and Rui having good games. And we know, especially D'Angelo Russell, we know how talented he is. I certainly do. I know that he's a really good NBA player. He's skilled and he's capable of having these games, pretty regularly when he's on. But that's just the thing. There's one thing that you can count on with D'Angelo Russell, and that's his consistency being inconsistent. And I hate that. It bothers me so much. Really across any sport, but particularly in basketball. If you don't know what you're going to get from a player on a night in and night out basis, how can you win with that? How can you effectively coach and game plan players that you don't really know what you're going to get more often than not? And that's the problem that I have with D'Angelo Russell. And it seems like I'm having a very similar, if not the same problem with Rui Hachimura. I think D'Angelo Russell is the type of player that you want in the regular season, kind of. He can help fill some of those gaps to where if your offense might be a little stagnant, he can come off the bench. Like this season, for example, I think JJ made a great call bringing him off the bench, and he's been pretty productive, which does help our bench scoring, which is an issue. And is also important if you're looking to compete against some of the better teams in the league. But at the same time, we know who D'Angelo Russell is at this point. And it's so funny because when you look online, it seems like there's a bit of a split crowd. You have one crowd who's saying, D'Angelo Russell's back. He should start. JJ's not utilizing him correctly. If D'Angelo Russell was running the offense, the Lakers' problems would be solved. And I'm like, yo, what are y'all talking about? And then there's another crowd who's kind of more aligned with my way of thinking. And it's like, yo, this doesn't surprise me. Every once in a while, we're going to see these games from D'Lo, or we're going to have stretches where he's playing really well. But there's one thing that you can definitely count on is that production is going to stop at some point. He's going to struggle. One night, he's going to drop 30, with 10 assists. The next night, he's going to go 1 for 9 from 3. And that's not even considering what we're going to see in the playoffs. One series, he might be okay. The next series, he might be, he might be even worse. One game, he's, on fire from 3. The next game, he's turning the ball over 5 times and can't guard a fence post. It's just not my cup of tea, man. I can appreciate his talent. He is a talented player. But when you're talking about championships, consistency is key. And D'Angelo Russell is inconsistent. I'm sorry. And I got to say the same thing for Rui Hachimura. I mean, we expected so much from him. And it looks like to begin the season, we kind of saw that. He was much more aggressive on the boards. He was kind of stepping up defensively, using his size and length. And he was a little more aggressive offensively as well. And then it's just up and down, up and down, up and down. Some games he disappears. Other games he has an impact. Some games he's okay. Some games he's not even playable. How can you win with those type of players? I just don't see it. I'm sorry. So to answer the question again, in terms of the trade market and whether or not the Lakers need to upgrade this roster, it doesn't change a damn thing. The Lakers need to make moves. In terms of D'Lo and Rui, that's just my feelings on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. You think I'm being too hard on them? Do you agree with what I'm saying? Just let me know. But with that being said, the trade market. If you're new to the channel and you haven't been watching my content, there are two guys that I think the Lakers should make a priority. That's Zach LaVine and Walker Kessler. There are other moves that the Lakers can make in order to kind of re-solidify the roster and help us improve so we can compete with better teams in the league. But in terms of the highest ceiling and giving us the best chance to not only win now, but to also set us up for the future for when LeBron retires, Zach LaVine and Walker Kessler should be our primary targets. I've seen some of you agree with it. I've seen some of you disagree with it. But to explain my logic, again, for those of you that are new here, I think those two players solve most of our problems, damn near all of our problems, but certainly most of our problems. Let's take Zach LaVine, for example. Zach LaVine is extremely athletic, and he is a legit second to third scoring option on this team. And that's something that we desperately need at the guard position. We need someone who's fast, quick, can run the floor, run the break, run back in transition. And we need someone who can be a third reliable scorer for alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And we don't have that right now. Right now, our third option is Austin Reeves. I like Austin Reeves, but he's no Zach LaVine. All right, Dalton Connect, I like him too. I think he has a lot of potential, but he's still a rookie. And I think he'd be much better served coming off the bench. So again, with Zach LaVine, elite scoring, elite athleticism. What about Walker Kessler? For Walker Kessler, I think that's kind of a no-brainer. No matter what side you're on or who you think you trade for, if you're a Lakers fan and you watch basketball and you know basketball, Anthony Davis needs a big. He needs a big alongside him or backing him up. And the Lakers have needed that for years. The last time we won a championship, we had Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee. And it's no coincidence that we were able to win a championship that year because we had that size and we had that rim protection, that length, that athleticism to take some of the pressure off Anthony Davis and allow him to be a true four, which is his best position. So how do we get this trade done? Bear in mind, I'm not an insider. I probably know just as much as you guys, or at least most of you. But from what we've heard, the rumors that we hear going around the NBA, for Zach LaVine, the Bulls are trying to dump his contract. That is their primary concern. They're not really concerned with the assets they get back or the players that they get back. They want to get rid of his contract so they can successfully start their rebuild around their current young core. With Walker Kessler, the Jazz, they're a little bit more, they're a little bit more greedy than the Chicago Bulls, okay? They want at least 2 first-round picks for Walker Kessler. Now, some of you might be saying, okay, well, the Lakers already offered two first-round picks and they declined it. They didn't want it. But what a lot of people misunderstand is that it wasn't the 2 first-round picks that the Jazz didn't want. It was the 2 first-round picks and D'Angelo Russell. The Lakers are trying to pawn off D'Angelo Russell in that trade, and the Jazz were like, nah, we don't want him. We want your picks, but we don't want D'Lo. So in order to satisfy these contracts, here's how it will work. If you look up on the screen here, this is a shout out to spottrack.com. They have an excellent NBA trade machine. If you're ever curious about different trades and what will work and what would work and what wouldn't work, I highly suggest using their machine. It works really well and it's up to date with all the latest picks and all that good stuff. So looking at this, here's how it would work. For Zach LaVine, trading Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell, and Gabe Vincent would satisfy the contract, again, which is the Bulls' biggest concern. And again, there is a chance they might even throw a pick in there for us, so who knows. But that's how it would work for Zach LaVine. For Walker Kessler, it's slightly more complicated, only because they're asking for assets in return. But to satisfy the contract, Walker Kessler right now is making just about $3 million. Jalen Hood-Schifino is making about 4. Boom, that'll work. We can satisfy the contracts, and we can give them 2 first-round picks, which is what they're asking for. We've heard rumors in the past that the Utah Jazz would be more interested in someone like JHS more than D'Angelo Russell. So I think their biggest concern is the picks and just get a young asset in return that maybe they can flip during the offseason, okay? Because the Lakers didn't extend JHS. he's an expiring contract. So that'll actually work in the favor of the Utah Jazz. So just as a recap, for Zach LaVine, Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell, and Gabe Vincent. For Walker Kessler, 2 first-round picks. I think if they ask for 1 unprotected, I say just do it. And the reason why I say that is because Walker Kessler is young, man. He's only 23 years old, and he's already proven to be a rebounding machine and an excellent interior defender, which is exactly what we need. Why are we holding on to picks if we can get something that we need now and something that we can invest in for the future as our number 1 center? So that's my logic behind it. Let me know if you guys have any questions, or let me know your thoughts. Do you think this trade is ridiculous? Do you think it's exactly what we need? Do you agree with me? Or as always, I always ask, do you think if I'm crazy, if I'm bugging? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thank you so much for your support. Seriously, guys, I really do appreciate it. We're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers before the new year. It's getting close, so any help that you guys can get, I really appreciate it. But other than that, thank you so much for watching again, and I'll catch you on the next video.